Hey guys, I'm David Mitchell, founder and CEO of TRADEway. What if God himself gave you a blueprint for how to handle your money? Well, the Bible is a practical book. Let's dive in and see what it has to say about wealth, about risk, about leverage, and about investing, and uncover how trading in the stock market can be a powerful tool for moving towards your biggest goals. We're so happy you're here. This is The Word on Investing. Hello everyone, welcome back to our podcast. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the best way to learn how to trade. I've had people ask me this and I think I've got the answer. Number one, get the education. Far too many people think that because they're smart, they can place a trade and head off to work and do just great. And the problem is they don't really know how to trade. They don't understand it's a skill set. It doesn't have to do with your IQ. I mean, sure, maybe IQ helps, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be a good trader. You just need to know how to trade. So you need to know the skill sets. And there's another thing I'll throw in. It's kind of a rabbit trail, but so many people out there think, well, you got to be a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon to trade effectively. That is not true. It's just skill sets. So all you need to do is go out to TRADEway.com and learn the skill sets, and we're going to help you with that. We focus on the education so much. That's our favorite part of everything we do at TRADEway. So we're going to help you get those skill sets that you need to have. Now, but too many people just think they can do it because they're good at other things. It doesn't work that way. You got to have an education on the proper skill sets for trading. And then people go out and they'll just try things like Forex. They'll trade currencies and they'll make a bunch of money, yeah. And what they don't focus on is then they lose a bunch. And if they did that for 3 years, they're going to break even at best because they don't have three legs on the trading table. They're not looking at fundamentals. They're not looking at technicals. They're not looking at market tone. They're just probably looking at a chart or something. And a chart by itself is not going to help you enough. So you need to go out to TRADEway.com, get the education on how to get that three-leg table that we talk about. How do you get the fundamentals, the technicals, and the market tone all working in the same direction? That's what makes the math work, but people don't do it. Or they may go out and they try penny stocks. Oh, that's about the worst thing you can do. I had to learn that the hard way back when I was in my 20s, and I lost $50,000 on a trade that a friend who said they had a friend that was great at penny stocks, if I'd give them that money, they'd double it for me in about a week. And what they did was lost it in about 3 days. And then what I realized was the problem with penny stocks is they're not regulated by the SEC the same way as real stocks. So the news and stuff that you read about them can be totally false and they don't get in trouble. And so most of the time the news is false. It might just be a shell company. It's not even doing anything. And they make you think you've got 15 oil wells in South America or something. That was the one I got into. And it didn't even exist. It was, a fake company. So don't do penny stocks ever. And then people try to day trade. And there's so much out there on the internet about day trading. It makes it sound like this awesome thing. And what people don't realize is when you try to day trade, you're actually competing with the best traders in the world, which are the guys on the floor, the market makers. I mean, they're the best traders in the world. You're not going to beat them over the period of a year or 3 years. They're going to beat you, and I don't think you're going to do that well. Yes, you'll have friends tell you they made a lot of money day trading. What they're not telling you is how much they lost. They never tell you that because of pride. You're not going to know that. So you're going to assume it works. But I'm telling you, after 40 years of doing this, it won't work for you. So don't do that. So go out to TRADEway.com and get involved with our educational systems, and you'll learn the right way to trade. Truthfully, the average up trade is going to last about 2 weeks, not a day, okay? And when you're doing puts, it's usually 3 days, not 1 day. So you're going to learn all that stuff and learn how to avoid the problem with day trading, because once you go beyond one actual business day and you're not day trading, all of a sudden you're no longer competing with those guys because it's a whole different scenario on how the trade works. So now all of a sudden when you stretch that out beyond a day, now you're looking at the three-leg table where you have fundamentals, you have technicals, you have market tone. You learn how to put all that together while the day traders and the market makers are doing their thing. You're doing something totally different, so you're not competing with them. All right? So don't try day trading. And then they're going to tell you, get into crypto. And so you jump into crypto and you know absolutely nothing about how it works. You don't even know what a blockchain is, how it works. You don't know what these companies are all about or why they even exist. And you certainly don't know which ones where their coin has any real value or not. And most of the time they don't. It's just sentiment. So if you're going to do crypto, you need to know how it works, but most people don't. They don't learn that. They just go in and use their emotions and jump in, try to get rich quick. So avoid that too. And so get the education is my point. Now, the second thing is once you get the education is you need mentoring. And we accomplish that at TRADEway. A lot of times it's through group mentoring because it's a lot less expensive than if you pay someone to be your personal mentor. There's really no need for that. For example, a lot of our educational systems out there at TRADEway.com will include at least a couple of live trading hours during the week. One of them may be just question and answer with some of our coaches and maybe hundreds of other students. And then the other one might be actually stock picking in a live market or actually buying stocks together. So we've got all that going on. And let me tell you something. At first, you need someone to hold your hand. You may think you don't, but you really do. Placing your first trade, imagine, it's kind of scary. You need someone to help you with that. So we have all that built into our TRADEway systems. It's not just education where you go to a seminar and then you're on your own. We don't believe in that. We never have believed in that. We're going to hold your hand and we're going to stick with you. And the whole idea is to make you successful because that makes our company successful. And we want you to be successful so you have potential to change your family's financial future out to 3 generations at least. So we're going to work with you on the mentoring, and it's going to be group mentoring, very affordable when you do it that way, and it's just as effective. We've done it for years. It is so effective. And then the next thing you need to do is practice, okay? So you're going to start out doing some paper trading, and then you're going to do what we call small money trading. And please don't skip this step. That's different for everybody. I understand. Some people will be $500. Some people will be $1,200. Some people $2,000. Even if you're a millionaire, we don't want you using more than $5,000. And then we want to see you double that in a couple of months. And if you can do that, including your losses, that means you're keeping the rules. And once you've taught yourself to keep the rules, and what's going to happen, by the way, you're going to have a few where you don't. You're going to lose real money, even though it's a small amount. And it's going to hurt enough to tell yourself, oh, well, I need to keep that rule. So get that done first before you start trading with, say, 20,000 or 50,000 or 10,000 or whatever. Don't use any large amount like that till you've done the paper trading and the small money trading for at least a couple of months. And really, it's not the time that matters. You need to double that small amount. That's what matters. And that needs to include your losses as well. And here's another thing. I think it's very important for you to get a broad understanding of all the available strategies as quickly as you can. And now there's like over 40 of them that we teach at TRADEway. All right. But you listen, what I mean by that is learn the language, kind of learn how the strategies work and the rules of the strategy. Not where you could go out and do one of those trades, but just where your mind wraps around it. You see how that strategy works and you understand the rules. And really, you can gain that with 4 two-day events. Think about that. And you can grasp that. Now, you don't get all 40 of those in those 4, but you'll get most of the basic ones, well over 20, maybe as many as 30. Some of the others are advanced strategies that you learn in other places that we do, like sometimes in pretty places like cruises or in Hawaii, places like that. But those are for, advanced classes once you've finished steps 1 through 4. But even steps 1 through 4, you're going to learn between 20 and 30 strategies. And you say, well, but can I master those? Well, no, you can't. But you need to get the vocabulary, the strategy itself, the rules in your mind. And the reason I believe that's important is because you're going to need 5 or 6 or 7 strategies that fit your personal risk tolerance and all the different things about your personality. And how can you even know if you don't look at all of them? So you want to look at all of them as quickly as you can, but then you're going to come back and master a few of them slowly. So you're going to get an overview of all of them quickly as possible, and then come back and master several of them, 1 or 2 or 3 at a time, very slowly. You might start out with rolling stocks and trending patterns, buying call or put options. That's basically steps number 1 and 2, and get really good at that. Get really, really good at that. Master those. Master the call options. master buying a put option, and get to the point where you're actually making some money because you're keeping the rules before you go out there and you learn how to do a credit spread or a debit spread. Well, even before those, I would, as soon as you get pretty good at rolling stocks, trending patterns, and so forth, where you're actually doing them, though, with the options, the calls for an up play, the puts for a down play, when you get good at that, I think the next thing I would look at is writing covered calls. That is one of the safest strategies in the world if you keep our rules. It's so safe that even your brokerage firm, when you join, even at stage 1, they'll let you do writing covered calls. You don't even have to have much experience to do that. That proves it's safer. So writing covered calls is fantastic. That's where you buy maybe a small dollar stock, like a $20 stock, and get you a few hundred shares of it. And then every time it dips, you sell calls. You sell call options. So your balance sheet grows because the value of that little asset, that stock, is going to grow over time. But you get cash flow maybe a couple of times a month when it dips, doing normal retracements, and you know how to make money by selling the call options, and that's like income. So now your income statement grows. So you got a whole business with that one strategy that you can operate from a laptop anywhere in the world, on the beach, in the mountains, wherever you want to be, with or without other people. Man, that is a fantastic business. And you get that one in step 4. So by the time you get through steps 1 through 4 with TRADEway, you can practice those rolling stocks, the trending stock patterns, doing it with calls and puts. Get really good at that. Then you can go in and add the covered call writing, and you got a business going. Then you can go in and start learning some of these credit spreads that work when the market's doing nothing. That's why you need to learn that one. Like, it can be going straight sideways, and that strategy makes you as much money as if it went up, or down. So, you can go out then and start finding 5 or 6 others that you can master. And you just master them 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. That's how you do it. And so it takes some time, doesn't it? So you need to get exposed to like 40 of them in a matter of months, but then you need to master them through the years. You can be making money while you're mastering them. That's the cool part. Okay, the next thing I would do right up front is I would get really good at drawing support and resistance lines. You learn that in step 1. Very first 2-day class, and by the way, you can do these live or online. And the very first 2-day class is going to make you a master at drawing support and resistance lines. And when I say a master, you'll know exactly the skill set, but you need to practice. So you can actually paper trade with your charting software, and you can go back in time and you can practice drawing support and resistance lines and do hundreds of them in a weekend. And by looking at a lot of stocks, whether they're trending or rolling, and drawing them, that's how you get good at it. But you'll know the skill sets once you finish step 1, and you get a little more education on the patterns and so forth in step 2. So by the time you finish steps 1 and 2, now you're also good at recognizing the most important patterns, such as the rolling stock pattern, the flags, the uptrends, the flags, or the stair steps, or the cup and handle patterns, which are kind of a base. We call it a base is when a stock goes up for a while and then rests, takes a little bit of a rest, and then heads up again. That has a lot of different forms, like a flat base or a cup and handle or an M or a W. And then there's one called a head and shoulders. It's telling you to buy puts, right? It's about to tank. Same way with an M pattern. That's like M for Mitchell, in case you can't hear what I'm saying. It just looks like an M. The head and shoulder is even a stronger down pattern. Like the M tells you it's going to go down. Stands for murder. That's how you remember it. The market's going to tank. So you buy puts, and you buy puts with the head and shoulders. And then there's one called Kiss Goodbye that's really high success rate because it's just a fantastic pattern, but it's usually, I say it's usually a put pattern, but you can also, if you get really good at them, there's like a couple of days you have potential to make money on a call option, and then you turn around and you have potential to make money on the downside of that play where it does the actual Kiss Goodbye and have potential to make money on the puts. So that's a great one. So there's just a few examples of some of the fantastic patterns out there that have existed for long periods of time, and they've worked for long periods of time, and they're still working today, and that's why we're teaching them. So go out to TRADEway.com and get hold of some of our educational packages and get started now. Because listen, I don't know when you're going to listen to this, but we're recording it on November the 4th, 2022. We're in a bear market. It's taken another move down, and but guess what? One of these days the bear is going to be over, and you got the next new bull And that is the greatest time for trading. So now is a great time to get the education. So go out to TRADEway.com, take advantage of it, get your paper trading done, get your small money trading done, get you some coaching going on in some of these awesome weekly group live meetings, and get some confidence built up. And then when that new bull starts, you'll be ready. Okay, guys, to me, that's the best way to learn to trade. I hope you liked this show. If you did, please rate and review it, and that way people with similar interests can find us. We'll be a help to them, just as we have been to you, hopefully, and I hope you have a great day.